about the legal regime on biosafety, and biosafety is one kind of basic part of the environment and the environmental satisfaction. And in the International Environment Convention, there are two types of recognition according to the environmental laws and the environmental jurisprudence. So biosafety and the legal regime of the biosafety is one of the basic convention which is actually important, rational, impactful for the biological diversity. So in my previous classes, I have also discussed about the Convention on Biological Diversity. You know that biological diversity has been established in the year 1992. And in the topic of the biological diversity, we have discussed about the ex situ conservation, in situ conservation, benefit sharing, and dispute settlement mechanism according to the Convention on the Biological Diversity. But in my present discussion, I would like to discuss about the legal regime on the biosafety. Before that, I have to mention what you mean by the biosafety. Biosafety is one kind of conservation mentioned in the Cartagena Protocol 2000 and the Nagoya Protocol 2010. So in the basic factor, biosafety means to make the basic safety on the biological instrument and the biological ingredient which has been specified by the Rio Declaration, Stockholm Declaration, Convention on the Biological Diversity, and Convention on the Nagoya Protocol 2010. But what is the importance of the biosafety? You know that after 1992, people are more concerned about the environmental issues. Before 1992, actually, people had no intention, people had actually no concern about the biosafety or the biosafety measurement. Even right now, we are getting huge amount of responsibilities or advantage from the international state. For example, the international organization or international state, they are making or they are creating huge amount of living modified organism or genetically modified organisms. You know that actually and naturally a beef's weight is not more than 200 kilos. But after the commencement of the GMO or the genetically modified organism, right now a buffalo's weight is more than 2000 kilos. So this is the advantage of the genetically modified organism. Even in every natural installment, in every natural settlement, we are concerning the biosafety mechanism. So before 2000s, actually people has no intention about biosafety. Even you know that every reaction has a re-reaction according to the Newton's law. So we are using huge amount of biodiversity for our own use, for our own mechanism. But here we have to definitely follow some of the instructions given by the international convention. So people can ask that why international convention is important regarding the biosafety, because this is the time of digitalization, this is the time of update universe. So in that mechanism, surely you have to follow the environmental mechanism. But if you ask 100 people in Bangladesh about the biosafety regarding the biological diversity or the biological diversity convention, they are absolutely failed to provide the absolute answer. Even they will say that they have no idea about the biosafety convention. But biosafety is actually important for the rational management of the international environmental convention. So in that mechanism, we can discuss about the Cartagena Protocol 2008. During the time of 2008, the scientists said that right now we have to take some authentic duties and authentic affiliation for protecting the universe, for protecting the present generation. For these reasons, they are giving some of the instructions, they are giving some of the effective installment for making a very good procedure over the biosafety mechanism. In the Cartagena Protocol, they are mentioned the prior informed consent. So what do you mean by the prior informed consent in the mechanism of biosafety? For example, any country would like to transfer its living modified organism or genetically modified organism from one country to the another country, definitely the host country have to take the written consent from the transferring country. This is called the prior informed consent. Without prior informed consent, if you transfer the living modified organism or genetically modified organism from one place to another place, it actually a dangerous transfer. because without any kind of satisfaction mechanism, the virus can be run out from the genetically modified organism or the living modified organism. Here I can give you a glaring example, the coronavirus. During the time of pandemic situation, the people are more concerned how the coronavirus has been implemented throughout the whole world. So actually I predict that this is the direct result of not to following the biosafety mechanism or biosafety installment mentioned in the Cartagena Protocol 2008 and Nagua Protocol 2010. Why this Cartagena Protocol and Nagua Protocol is actually important? The first important is that from the Cartagena Protocol and Nagua Protocol, people are more concerned about the biosafety mechanism. From this time, people are knowing that this biosafety mechanism is much more needed for the installment, for the development, and for the installment of the environmental protection and the environmental duty. The second importance of Cartagena Protocol is that for the first time it has mentioned the prior informed context or transboundary harm. This is the basic international environmental mechanism, but before 2000s, the ordinary people, the common people has no intention in transferring these types of dangerous element from one country to the another country. In the biological convention or the biological diversity convention, we have discussed about the different types of genetics and species. So if any kind of scientist make any kind of improvement on the biosafety, here the scientist, the concerned authority, even the state have to follow some of the instructions given by the Stockholm Declaration, Cartagena Protocol 2008 and the Rio Declaration 1992. But before 2000s, actually there are no types of single binding in transferring the biosafety mechanism. So this is on kind of biggest mechanism regarding the biosafety mechanism 2008. The third important of the biosafety convention is that without a very good mechanism, without a very good public education, people will never aware about the biological convention, even the biosafety mechanism. Even right now I'm discussing about the living modified organism or the genetically modified organism, but inherently we are emphasized with the living modified organism or the genetically modified organism without any kind of interpretation. Even in our daily lifestyle, we are using 100% elements based on the living modified organism and the genetically modified organism. For example, for our daily purposes, we are using and we are eating the broiler, we are eating the hybrid vegetables, hybrid foods. And do you know that these types of installments and natural elements definitely based on the convention on the biosafety mechanism, which is more related to the Nagua protocol? Because for the first time in Nagua protocol, it is mentioned that if any kind of scientist, any kind of concerned authority would like to transfer these types of hybrid elements from one country to the another country, definitely he have to follow the international biosafety mechanism, because in international biosafety mechanism it shares a very good mechanism and very good theory for the protection of the environmental certainty and the environmental sustainability. Even you know that Bangladesh is a developing country, so here Bangladesh need the help of the neighbor country, Bangladesh need the help of the rich countries, but I